It has been about a week since an independent report highlighted failures by LSU in past reporting sexual assault claims, and reactions continue tonight. Our team of reporters were there for many hours of testimony at the state capitol today and bring us the very latest. A warning before we begin, some of today's testimony may be difficult to hear.
Well, certainly a lot of controversies have gotten us to where we are today, and this was the day for it all. And the anger? Well, that spoke for itself.
Painful, tragic, brutal, sickening. I am ashamed.
So here it is, we are in 2021, and I'm asking myself, what's different? What has changed since steps were taken back in 2015?
We've done this over and over again, and we can't seem to get it right.
Because clearly the message hasn't been sent that we are listening.
I may not have been in the chair when the things happened, but I'm sitting in the chair today, so it is my responsibility to apologize, and I do. The policies were very unclear. There were directions within departments to report Title IX issues to places they should not have been reported.
To say that there was a policy not in place or people didn't know what to do, I just think it's kind of bull.
I've never had a job anywhere that would not have terminated me for lying at work and not protecting the people that I was there to protect.
I would say making a falsehood as opposed to not saying.
Disclose falsehood. Did they tell the truth?
They did not tell the truth.
Okay, now we're on the same page.
The conversation about surveys and why aren't people responding and all of those things, my blood is boiling on the inside, because I think fundamentally the problem is the culture.
I think that our students are going to see this as a slap on the wrist.
Well,
It's simple.
And they're nodding back there.
I see that. Yeah. Well,
Meantime, it's still unclear what this legislative panel will do with all this testimony, all this information, all of this anger. But the chairwoman of this committee, State Senator Regina Barrow, with quite the bold argument. She's telling LSU's interim president Tom Galligan to, quote, reconsider his position at the university. And we'll see what comes of that. But for now, we are here at the state capitol. I'm Harrison Golden. Back to you.
Harrison, thank you very much. And now NBC Local 33's Abby Rocha brings us a closer look at some of the extremely emotional testimony we heard from victims today. Again, some viewers may find this disturbing.
But I tried. I tried to get some type of help.
I sustained broken ribs, bruises, and bruising on my neck from strangulation.
He forced me to stay by pinning me against the wall by my neck.
I was raped by Darius Geis at LSU in 2016.
I was battling the fear of him while also being attached to him emotionally.
The testimonies of survivors difficult to hear.
I can just tell by the faces of my colleagues, we are beyond words.
Survivors say the Hush and Blackwell report was a slap in the face.
I felt more victimized by this report than anything else thus far.
Lawmakers are accusing the LSU administration of still not being truthful.
This just reeks of an organized crime cover-up. As we turn back more leaves, we're going to find out everybody was covering this up.
Still questioning how we can trust employees like Miriam Seeger to come back from suspension and do the right thing.
She listened to stories and ignored them. Like, that fundamentally is where my conflict is with you right now.
I appreciate that.
No, I don't know if you do.
While they recognize many of these things happened under previous administration, they are calling on interim President Tom Galligan to make the right decision moving forward.
A couple employees suspended? Are you kidding me? Does that sound like the culture is changing? If we're talking about the line being drawn in the sand, then you fire these individuals and you clean house.
Ultimately questioning how the University of Kansas could take action against Les Miles so quickly while the LSU administration is dragging their feet.
They have terminated their relationship. What I read in the paper...
He was fired.
I read it with
He was fired.
Lawmakers are promising they will get to the bottom of this, no matter how long or painful the process. Abby Rocha, NBC Local 33 News.
And several former star LSU athletes were accused of sexual misconduct at today's hearing. We have not heard from their attorneys about those accusations at this time. Meanwhile, LSU's interim president Tom Galligan issued several apologies and thanked the survivors for coming forward today. The committee says this is just the first of many conversations.
Well, turning now